Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to another awesome day here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Today is going to be equipment fun. So we're going to be running the T1104, the TYM T1104 tractor with the Woods Precision Super Seeder today. So we're going to have some fun overseeding pastures. We're going to talk to you a little bit about grass seed, the type of grass seed that I use here in the fall to help establish forage, and we're going to talk a little bit about clover, nitrogen fixation, and we're going to talk about correcting the pH of your soil. So we've got all kinds of cool stuff to do today. Come along as we have a little bit of fun getting some work done on the tractor and a special surprise right after the break. All right? Woo! Stoney Ridge Farm, Stoney Ridge, Stoney Ridge Farm. You ready for your special surprise? Let's walk back here. As I'm getting farm work done and getting stuff done here on the farm, man's got to eat, so I've got an awesome meal planned for tonight. I've been out here, I've been smoking this brisket for about 5 hours now, and it's probably got about 5 more hours to go. Let's take a look real quick before we get busy working. Check it out. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be delicious. So this is Big T. This is the TYM T1104. It's a 110 horsepower TYM tractor. It's the biggest one in the lineup. And what we're matching it up with is some grass seed, clover seed, and the Woods Precision Super Seeder right here. This is the PSS72. It's really, really cool. So on the front of it, it has some spiked rollers. Those spikes help to rip up the ground ahead of the seed drill. Then there's one big spiked roller right here in the middle, and there is a cultipacker built into the back of it. So it basically prepares your seed bed, drops the seed in, and cultipacks it right behind the seed. This is the ultimate food plot machine right here. So if you're planting food plots, probably about a month and a half ago is probably when you needed to do that. You've got hoppers for all sorts of different stuff. Cool season grasses, warm season grasses, and those small seeds like clover or turnips or anything like that that you'd want to use for a food plot. What we're building is a food plot for the cows. So out here in this pasture in front of the house, what we're trying to do is we're trying to fix more nitrogen, we're trying to feed the soil, and we're trying to amend the soil. So the pH of our soil here on the farm is between 4 and 4.2, which is not conducive to growing good quality fescue grass for our cattle. So what we want to do is we want to bring that pH up. You'll have to stay tuned for the future video, and what we're using is Fast Cal or calcium or limestone basically. But this Fast Cal is a product made by Green Resources in Colfax, North Carolina, and I think they're all over the states, but it's called Fast Cal, and 1 bag of this is the same as 3 bags of lime. So we're drastically reducing the amount of labor it's gonna take to spread all this. Now, we're not gonna be using a broadcast spreader today. We're just gonna be dropping down some seed in the ground. So let's show you all the hoppers, how this thing works, and we'll get it loaded up and out here working. All right, I've got a scooper right here. I'm gonna toss that aside. The scooper is so that I can scoop out clover seed and load up the clover hopper right here. What we're doing with clover, before we even start putting grass seed down, what we're doing with clover is we're spreading the seed on the ground so that we get nitrogen fixation. So clover will pull nitrogen from the atmosphere and bring it into the soil, thus helping the soil to grow, which is super, super cool. So along with the cow poop, we've got clover that's fixing nitrogen here on the farm to help build the soils. We are straying away from any type of chemical fertilizer here on the farm. There are only 3 places that I use any sort of chemical fertilizer, and that's right around my pond dam. So my pond dams are really compacted. I'm trying to bring that soil back, so I'm putting a little bit of triple 17 on there just to try and make it pop, okay? That is not where the cows graze. We're not grazing the cows on anything with fertilizer. So this first bin is our small seed hopper, and this will house the clover seed. If you had any sort of food plot seed with tiny, tiny little seeds, and I'll show you the clover seeds in a minute, that would be the hopper. The next one is cool season grasses and cereal grains. And what we're gonna be putting in here today is a 80-20 fescue annual ryegrass mix. It's called a contractor's mix. It's the fall or spring contractor's mix. There is a summer contractor's mix that has millet in it, foxtail millet. Foxtail millet will grow on a rock, so if you're like building a pond or something, or if you've got an area that wants to wash, that's what you want to hit it with in the summertime. In the fall and the cool season or the springtime, we're going to hit it with an 80-20 mix of Kentucky 31 fescue and annual ryegrass. Now, on the back hopper, which we're not going to use today, but we do use from time to time, this is a big hopper, and this big hopper houses bigger seeds. So our native grasses, like our eastern gamma grass, like our broom grass, not broom straw, but broom grass, all sorts of different varieties of warm season grasses. So we bought this with all that in mind as we establish native grasses here on the farm. And there are programs out there for you guys if you're interested. Look up on your government website, stop into your local USDA office. There are programs out there that'll help you pay for your native grasses so we can get those native grasses back and get those bobwhite quails back to the farm too. So it's something important. So let's go ahead and start loading this critter up. This is our annual ryegrass and fescue mix right here, okay? I always cut a T in my bag. There we go. So we've got two different types of clover here. We've got the medium ladino clover, which is the clover that you see in most yards. It's that clover, it's about that tall and it has the white top. Now what we have over here is a medium red top type clover, and there isn't much difference in the seed. They look basically the same. The red top is a little bit bigger seed. Let's go ahead and open up this guy. The ladino is a little bit smaller. That's ladino, that's the red top. What we're gonna do is take our scooper that we just tossed over here, and we're gonna mix about half and half. Now I know I'm gonna be seeding around 3 acres right here. Typically the seeding rate is about 3 pounds to the acre for clover, okay? A lot of this clover seed we're gonna mix in with our lime and shoot it out with the broadcast spreader, because when you put clover seed on the ground, clover seed will sprout. And this pasture that we're working with right here, once we get the broadcast seeder up and running, the cows will be on it pretty soon. So we're gonna move the cows over here right after we put the grass seed down so that they'll trample that grass seed down into the ground. That's what this machine does the best. It saves you time, it saves you money, and it does all the trampling for you. So if we were to broadcast spread this grass seed, we'd be looking at 150 pounds to the acre. If we're using this machine, the Woods Precision Super Seeder, we cut that down to about 30 pounds per acre. So one bag goes a lot further. That's why you get a seed drill when you have a big piece of property like this. So let's go ahead and we're gonna load up this hopper. Start with the ladino. On to the red top. A little more ladino. And a little more red top. Now the reason we use ladino and red top is ladino makes for a pretty good forage, but it's not very tall and it's not very robust. So we want to mix ladino and red clover so that we get that forage-based clover, we get that grass seed that comes up, and we get that clover that fixes nitrogen. That ladino clover really, really fixes nitrogen. Now you might be thinking, well, won't your cows get bloat from eating too much clover? Your horses get bloat from eating too much clover? Yes, they will. So you have to be careful and you need to make sure that your mix is just right, okay guys? So no more than about 20% clover in the pasture, and the rest of it needs to be different types of grasses. As you can see, we've got pretty good grass right over in here. It's not a fenced in pasture. We'll walk over here to this section. This is where I basically had no grass whatsoever 3 years ago. And now I've unrolled hay bales out here. I unrolled about 55 hay bales out here last winter, and the grass is just taken off. There's a lot of nutrient in the soil, but we need more nutrient. And that, again, is where that clover comes into play. So let's get busy rolling with the seed drill. It'll be awesome. As you can see, Big T is doing an awesome job out here. It really feels like you don't have the implement even behind you. The PSS, the Precision Super Seeder from Woods here, has been an awesome part of the farm in building the soil, and that's what this is all about. Establishing forage for the cows and building soil. What this fall drilling is going to do, this drilling down seed for the fall here, is going to give the cows a little bit of winter forage. In other words, that wonderful forage that we're experiencing from the ryegrass. And I misspoke earlier, it's 80-20, 80% fescue, 20% annual ryegrass. That ryegrass will stay green all winter long, and the cows will be able to forage off of that. Now, it's not really high quality forage, but that's all good. This is the time of year when you want to plant your fescue grass, and you want to make sure that you get your legume in there, meaning your clover. You gotta get that clover in there. It really completes the package. What we're shooting for here on the farm is a not a monoculture, but a multi-species pasture. So that's what we're shooting for. You'll notice as we ride over the grass, I didn't clip the grass ahead of time, because when I run over the grass, you can see where it's matted down. And if I stay in the same direction, I can always tell where I've been, so I'm not crossing over the same place twice and wasting seed. Now, inevitably, you're gonna cross over the same place once or twice, just kind of turning around, but we don't want to waste any seed because this stuff is super expensive this year. I think fescue went from $60 to about $115 per bag, so it's expensive, but we're getting there, and hopefully we won't have to reseed this section of pasture ever again, and we'll move on to the next section of pasture in the spring. Really awesome, guys. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. Guys, thanks a lot for joining me. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Please pound that like button, jump in, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you back. Woo!
Come on down to the Stoney Ridge, bring your wife and bring your